Today we'll take a look at installing popular front-end developer tools on Windows 10. Here we're looking at the Azure Console and creating a new virtual machine using the Windows 10 1709 image. Hardware is 2 CPU and 7 gigs of memory, and we can go ahead and choose a local admin account with password. For that, I'll use the GRC password generator. Take a highly secure password, copy paste it over, and hold a copy in Notepad. We can look at the disk, standard SSD. We can bridge a public IP address, look at our management and boot options, any guest extensions, any metadata tags, and then go ahead and instantiate the virtual machine. For this, we're looking at a cost, it's remarkable, but only 14 cents an hour to go ahead and run a standard DS2 Windows 10 desktop. So we'll click Create, and that'll instantiate our new VM. Okay, our Windows 10 virtual machine is complete. Here we can see deployment complete with a lot of the different details. And we took it 6 minutes, 46 seconds. Pretty cool for spinning up a new machine. Under virtual machines, you'll find your Win10 machine created. Navigate into it. We'll locate the public IP on the right. Go ahead and copy that out. Paste it into remote desktop. And here we can do demo and paste in our password. Continue for the certificate warning. Great. And now we're looking at our fresh, brand new Win10 virtual machine. Okay, so with our Win10 machine running, what we can do is open the Start menu, locate Powershell, and run as administrator. We're going to have a few different things to install, and we're going to use two different command line installers to get there. The first is going to be Chocolatey, and the second will be npm. Chocolatey will be the first. So we'll go ahead to the install section. They have two different options. There's a command line and PowerShell. So what we want to do is get the PowerShell one. And I think we may have to scroll a little bit. Set execution policy bypass, run install ps1. There we go. So that's our command that's going to go ahead and load up Chocolatey. That'll be our first step to getting our front-end developer tools loaded. And it goes through a few different system checks, adds some things to the common environment path, and beautiful. So now with that done, we'll open another PowerShell window, run as admin. cinst is the Chocolatey install command. So here we're going to tell it we want to install Node. So the proper command is node.js. So we'll do cinst node.js-y. The -y is to confirm the prompt, are you sure you want to install? So it's sort of a silent mode. With node.js successfully installed, we can go ahead and move on to our next package. Here we're going to install Visual Studio Code. And I typoed that command, so cinst Visual Studio Code. Go ahead and let that run. Okay, now we have Node.js and Visual Studio Code. Next thing we're going to install is Google Chrome. So the package name for that will be Google Chrome, all one word. Back with an approved package. You know it's a valid Chocolatey package name when it echoes back a version number and then begins a binary download. If you typo the name or it's an invalid name, it comes back pretty quick that it couldn't resolve it to a version number. So as soon as it comes back with things like, Visual Studio Code, we have our version, 1.3 here. Chrome, it's coming back with a version number 71.0. When it echoes back those version numbers, we know it's a successful package name. Okay, and with those tools implemented, we can now go ahead and do cinst Fiddler-y. This will get our Fiddler debug tool, which is great for watching network traffic, but it's also helpful for simulating HTTP GET and POST transactions. So a lot of times you'll be doing things in the browser, working with a software as a service, a platform. You want to invoke an HTTP POST, and Fiddler can help you get the headers and the payload and execute that transaction. It's also great for debug just to see what's happening over the wire. Okay, with those installed, I want to do one thing. I want to do node-v. All right, well, let's go ahead and spin up a new PowerShell window and check out our version of NPM that we have. 6.4, beautiful. So with NPM, we want to install a couple of different things that are going to install globally. The first one is going to be called Lite Server, Lite. And what that's going to do is give us a small HTTP web server that we can invoke from the command line on whatever folder we're working from. So as you kind of navigate and switch different directories, you simply type in lite-server and hit enter, and you'll get a localhost colon 3000 HTTP website running out of that folder. It does use browser sync, so it has the automatic file watcher and automatic reload. So as we're changing our web page, making updates to index HTML or dependent resources like a JavaScript, CSS, and what have you, the minute we save those files, our web browser is going to blink and refresh, which is fantastic. So Lite Server is definitely something we want to have available in our npm command line. Now at this point, another thing I like to install globally is going to be @angular/CLI. And that is the, I'll spell it correctly here, Angular CLI. That's the command line interface for Angular. This is, of course, version 2 and higher, the newer stuff. It has scaffolding to create components for us, to create services for us. It has TypeScript support, it has Webpack bundling, and of course, its own local host website that runs on port 4200. But having it on the command line gives us some new options for creating projects in the Angular 2 and higher world, and the CLI is definitely something that you'll want to have as part of your tool set. So now with all of those packages installed, we can do npm list -g --depth equals 0. And what that's going to do is list out the global packages that we have. Of course, there's only two, Angular CLI and Lite Server. Now, from a Microsoft SharePoint perspective, there's one more we're going to want to do, and it's going to be @Microsoft/generator-SharePoint. And what that is going to give us is the SharePoint Framework command line options. And that'll be a very helpful one if you're doing anything with Office 365 and SharePoint Online. Okay, next I would like to go ahead and load Gulp. So we're going to do npm install -g, and we're simply going to type in Gulp. That's a very popular command line utility for bundling and minification and some other automation as part of your build process. A lot of projects you might find examples online, things from Plunker, they're going to have a dependency on Gulp. So when you download other samples, you'll want this in your global command line so you can build and run them. Even if you're not doing a lot with it and you prefer the Angular CLI's Webpack, it's good to have Gulp in the background just for compatibility with work other developers have done. So if we do list global --depth 0, we can now see we've got a handful of projects here. On the chocolatey side, you do cver all-lo for local. That'll echo back the chocolatey packages that we have. And now we've got two different listings of our chocolatey packages which are installed and our npm packages which are installed. This now puts you in a great place to go ahead and begin front-end development work. And just to test things out a little bit, we can see we've got VS Code, we've got Chrome, we go hit the start menu, we've got Fiddler back here, and working away on the command line, there's a lot of great things that we can do, certainly with Angular CLI, but also with Gulp and just npm in general to spin up new projects, run Lite Server for a local host website. A lot of beautiful things we can do there. For a quick test, just to validate that everything is working the way we want, go ahead and minimize some of these windows. We can come over here to the desktop, make a directory called demo, switch into demo, do npm init to initialize a package JSON. Actually, we'll do that in this other window, npm init, and that will go ahead and npm init --y. That'll go and give us a basic package JSON where it can track dependencies for anything we're installing. So here, if we do npm install angular --save, that'll give us the old, more traditional Angular 1 dependencies. Type start space dot. You can go explore the folder, see that we've got Angular's dependencies here. So if you wanted to create a hello world website, this was how you would do it with Angular 1. Angular 2, I'd recommend using the CLI, but in this case, we can type code space dot, and that'll open up VS Code to the current folder. And here we can type in index HTML. Go ahead and do that. HTML:5 tab for expanding the abbreviation. Come down here, caps lock, hello world, save it. Back on the command line, light-server. That's going to open up the localhost port 3000. You may get this firewall prompt first time using the application. That's fine. Go ahead and open that up. And it's spinning up the website. We'll go ahead and open Chrome. And we'll check out localhost 3000. It says hello world. And if we switch back over to VS Code, we can put that side by side. Beautiful. There we go. Type in test and hit save. There we go. So as soon as we're hitting Control S, it's refreshing on the right-hand side, and this is the development experience that you'll want to have. Now, as far as VS Code extensions and plugins, there are several to know about. I would go ahead and recommend the Angular Essentials from John Papa. Do a search for that. Go ahead and install. It's actually a grouping of other extensions, an extension that gives you extensions. There's a lot of great IntelliSense that you're going to get here, some debugging. It's a wonderful thing to begin with. And you're going to see a lot of different choices, of course, when it comes to Angular. I mean, on the left-hand side, our search results are scrolling out of view. But the Angular Essentials, I think, is a wonderful place to begin. And also check out any of the material from John Papa on his YouTube channel, Pluralsight training, and all that sort of good stuff. But loading that particular plugin would be great. You've got Fiddler now, got Chrome, got the npm command line. We've got light server where we can run a website on localhost 3000 out of any folder. And now we're in a spot where we can really be productive, working as front-end developers, and really juggling these three windows that we're editing our code in VS Code, we're looking at our command line, and we're looking at our browser. These three windows are going to be what you run most of the day, and will cover any project that you need. Thanks for watching.